Welcome everyone to Living in Faith. I'm your host, Giovanna Tortorone.
And I am your co-host, Pablo Sanchez. A pleasure to see you, Gigi.
Hello, Pablo. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today's title is Living in the Present Moment, finding peace when we're in the present moment. And I do know that, through the studies that we both have done, Pablo, we come to know that if we're living in the past, we're worried and we're angry and we're mad. If we're living in the future, we're worried, unsure. But if we're living in the present moment is where the peace lies. And that's what I want to speak about today is how do we stay in the present moment, even though, there's a lot of chaos going on, right?
Well, Gigi, when you mentioned the title, the first thing that I thought about was a Bible verse that encapsulates this perfectly. It is Matthew 6, verses 25 to 34. It says, "Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Look at that.
Yeah.
Talk about being wise and everything else. God knows that we have everyday problems and everything else. So what he's encouraging us is not to worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow you're going to have a whole new set of problems also. So just worry
And
about
nobody, right. And nobody really promises tomorrow. And tomorrow is not promised to anyone, is what I want to say. So what can we do to really enjoy the present moment? What are some of the things that we can implement so that we don't get shifted either from the past, thinking about the past, or thinking about tomorrow?
I like to say that the best way to do that is to start off your day with being grateful for another day. And then right now we should all be living on purpose, right? Living in purpose means that we will have short-term and long-term goals. And when we see another day, what we're seeing is an opportunity to, let's see if we can reach that goal. What is it that within my list that I can knock down? So when we do that, our mind shifts. Our mind shifts for the better, and then just having a sense of focus, sense of
Right.
this is what I need to do. It is completely amazing. That's the best way to do it. Okay.
And I love that. I love that because we can't do two things at once. Our mind cannot be truly focused on two things at once. So if you have a purpose and you're working towards your goals, every day you're getting up with knowing, what you need to do to accomplish those goals, right? The little tasks that you need to do. As soon as you're not focused because you're thinking of the past or thinking about what's going to happen, next week, you shift your focus and now you're worried. So that's a beautiful way of looking at it, Pablo, is, writing down your goals, what you want to work on, and stay focused on those other than the news, right? The outside world. Is
I
just
mean,
having discipline.
what can you do about the past? You're wasting your time talking about the past, seeing the things that you failed to do. Talk about,
Yeah.
I mean, do you really want me to go down that road? I can open up my own list.
Yeah, no, and it's true because the past doesn't define you. The
The
past
thing,
doesn't dictate the future, but the past can hold you back. It can prevent you to step into something that, you're or mess up your dreams, right? You're looking at the past, you're like, well, I couldn't make it there, so that means why try again? But if you look at it as your past is a learning experience, it's just an experience. It's not failure. It's not anything other than what you label it. So that's why the past is really not that important and it does not dictate the future. right?
Completely. And a couple of things to think about the past is that they say, you know, how in your rear view mirror is too small, right? Looking in the back, whereas your windshield is so big, looking into your future. This is what you have there, you know. Um,
Yeah.
when it comes to the past, or just sticking with the topic, finding peace in the present, sometimes finding that peace, what I find that holds us back is the lack of forgiveness. um,
Of course.
it's something that we have touched upon in the past, but I feel the need to touch this up again, because sometimes if you're not living in the present is being able to not just focus, but being able to visualize what it is that you want, what it is that God has in the purpose that God has in your life. So if you're not able to visualize it, you need to revisit everything and start off with forgiveness. And you will find out that, I know for myself personally, I things happen every single day, and a lot of things I like to say probably are not my fault, probably not your fault, but somebody else. But then, if you fail to mend that, if you fail to ask for forgiveness, even if it was not your fault, but just to maintain the relationship, especially if it's within family. If it's within family, you know what? uh, I know that forgiveness sets me free, because
You just took the words out of my mouth.
I know very well that
Yes.
I can ask for forgiveness, knowing that I'm saying I know I'm right, but I know that I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it because of me. I know I know I'm doing it for myself. Although I know I'm right, I'm gonna say I'm sorry, because I know that I'm going to feel good, because I know that you want to hear it.
Well, not only that, you're releasing whatever the negativity that is in your mind, because when you don't forgive someone of something, right, that has happened, then what happens is you're closing the doors to receiving the goodness and the peace that you deserve as a human being, right? You deserve the peace. No one said you're coming on this earth so that you can, live in fear or in disharmony, right? If you forgive, because no one's perfect in this world, right? So we all try our best. And so forgiveness comes from, like you just said, it's forgiving us for holding something within us that's preventing us to move forward. Forgiveness is not necessarily for the other person, it's for our own well being so that we can move on. Because in the past, before I went into personal development, I will say to you, I was very upset at my dad. I was, the way he raised us. It was like we didn't have any freedom, but I had to let that go, because if I look back, that was a beautiful lesson that he taught me. What not to do, things of not what not to do. And I love him for that now. I know that he tried his best. But at some point in my life, I was holding back, and I wasn't forgiving because my mom passed away. And then I thought he was the reason why my mom passed away. So it becomes a trickle, a trickle effect. Like you don't forgive this one, then you don't forgive that one, and then you don't, and then your life gets
All
consumed.
the luggage, all the things that you have on your shoulders. How
Exactly.
can you go to sleep at night? And then think about it. If you hold those thoughts, and then before you go to sleep, you're thinking about those things, it just gets worse and worse. It gets worse
Right.
and worse.
Right.
Now, recently, in my church, we had the pleasure of having a young man come to the church. Uh, and this young man, he gave his life to Christ when he was 18 years old. So then he talks about, when I started, imagine this, and him and his wife, another young lady, here we are, building up a church. Just, who's going to
Yeah.
listen to us? All these things. And then, so then now here we are 25 years later. his name is Antonio Burgos. He wrote a book, El Tormentador de Tormentas, which is the thunder, the one that creates the thunder. So he's saying that God is the one that creates the thunder. Forget the thunder, because keep your eyes focused on the one that creates them, right? Now, the reason I bring this, I'm not talking about this, friend, is because we're talking about finding peace in the present. And what this book talks about is the fears that we have, the fears that we bring in every single day. And then what his main focus is, don't keep your eyes on the storm. Keep your eyes on the one that's creating the storms. Something good has to come out of that. From there, we talk about the story of Peter in the boat. And then in the middle of the storm right there, Jesus is lying in the cabin, and then they go wake him up. Master, don't you care? We're about to drown. He says, you men of little faith, and he goes out there and he talks to the storm, says, calm down. But then that calm down is something that you really have to think a little bit about, because it's not just talking about the storm, the weather. It's talking about our own storms, our own fears that we have. And what it's teaching us that we have to trust in God for all of these things. So when we have trust in God, finding peace in the present, you know that He is in control. He is in control, and anything that happens is not a surprise to him. You're supposed to, he's waiting for you to see how you react in the middle of the storm. And then, depending on how you react, we're going to find out if you have actually learned your lesson and if you're ready to move up to the next level. And what happens is, it all depends on how you respond. And then how you respond, you either pass or do not. You may, because everything is at his perfect timing, but then when we talk about his perfect timing is also, are you ready for it? He's going to make sure that you go through all of the thunder, if you will, all of the problems that you have, because he's preparing you. What happens is later on, you might come across an even bigger problem. And if you were not able to handle the little problem that I'm calling right now little, but it was really big back then, there's no way they're going to be able to handle this other problem that has the little problem times two, if you will. So,
right. And I love that, because it's trusting, right? It's trusting that something bigger is in charge, and that's where the peace comes in. That's where acceptance comes in. Like, you accept the situation, and sometimes it's hard to look at what the good is in the situation, but there is always something good that comes out of the situation. Maybe you don't see it immediately, but you'll definitely see it at some point. But just trusting, and we're in control of our peace. We're in control. We have to make a choice, right? We have to make a choice to say, I'm going to live in this present moment right now, and understand that problem is there, but also trust that something greater than me is going to help me solve this problem.
Completely.
Right?
And I think that one of the things that you can help you find that peace in the present, once again, I started talking about the fears, talking about Antonio Burgos, the writer of this book. What I have done is I have taken this book, I have taken it into pieces, I have taken each chapter, broken it down. And you're going to love how it is that I have broken down into different types of fears that we have, and how also how we can hand all of those fears over to God, because the one that's in control is God. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. That. God is in complete control. And the one thing that you have to realize is that He loves you, and everything that you have right here, anything that you have right here, is all temporary. It's all temporary. What we're all looking for is what is eternal. What's eternal is God, God's love. That's eternal. That's what we want. Okay.
And I'll add that it lives in us, right? There's something in us that's internal too.
Completely.
Right? The Holy Spirit is internal. It's within us.
That is
so when we make that connection, that's where we find peace, for sure. So let's switch over to our friends and translate this in Spanish.
Muy buenas noches. El tópico de hoy es encontrando paz en el presente. Gigi, ella sale con sus tópicos. Ese es el título, Pablo. Entonces, con eso a mí me da un espacio un poquito amplio como qué es lo que puedo hablar. Cuando dijo eso, yo me acordé de Mateo 6, 25 a 34, que dice, así que no se preocupen por el mañana, porque mañana traerá sus propios afanes. Cada día tiene sus propios problemas. Aquí, compartiendo con Gigi, estamos de acuerdo que seguir pensando en lo que pasó ayer, de veras, lo único que estamos supuestos a coger es las lecciones para el futuro. El futuro tiene sus propios problemas, entonces lo que nos está diciendo es, vamos a preocuparnos de hoy día. Entonces, para preocuparnos de hoy día, la sugerencia aquí, cómo mantener la paz en el presente, es empezando en la mañana con agradecimiento, agradeciéndole a Dios por este otro día. Y segundo, es cuando uno está trabajando con un propósito, y lo que sugiero es que pregunten a Dios cuál es su propósito, porque nosotros también tenemos propósitos de trabajo, propósitos financieros, propósitos así, todas esas cosas le podemos entregar a Dios, y Dios es el que tiene, si usted va a comprender que Dios tiene el control de todo eso, todo es al debido tiempo de Dios, no es cuando nosotros lo queramos. Aquí entonces, para encontrar esa paz en el presente, estoy diciendo, primero empecemos agradeciendo a Dios. Segundo, vamos a fijarnos en las metas que tenemos. Y otra vez, esas metas deberían ser las metas que Dios tiene para usted. Debería preguntarle a Dios, papito Dios, ¿qué es lo que quieres que yo haga hoy? Y cuando uno se pone así, le incluye a Dios en las pequeñas como las decisiones grandes, su día va a ser fabuloso. Ahora usted está viendo en el presente. Otra vez, lo que dice es, no te preocupes de mañana, porque mañana tiene sus propios problemas. Entonces, vamos a enfocarnos en el día de hoy, qué es lo que tenemos que hacer para cumplir nuestras metas. Yo he dicho varias veces que nuestras metas deberíamos tenerlos en el teléfono, como un screensaver. En el screensaver ahí usted tiene cuántas veces usted ve su teléfono. Usted se quiere enojar, quiere llamar a alguien para darle un pedazo de su mente, se coge ahí, hey, estas son mis metas. No voy a gastar mi tiempo aquí en algo del pasado. No es así. Escriba sus metas, siga con sus metas y va a ver lo lindo que va a ser. Ahora, también a veces cuando uno tiene metas, es bueno que uno pueda visualizar lo que uno desea. Cuando uno visualiza lo que uno desea, es más fácil obtenerlas porque lo está viendo. Pero cuando uno no puede ni siquiera visualizar eso, tenemos que ver dentro de nosotros, a ver, ¿qué es lo que no nos está permitiendo visualizar? Yo sé, yo tenía ese problema y la razón, cuando me puse a verme yo mismo por dentro, el primero que me salió es la falta del perdón. Cuando uno no ha perdonado, uno se pone ahí a pensar, bueno, ¿qué en realidad pasó eso? Uno ni se acuerda lo que pasó y por qué. ¿Y por qué? No se acuerda nada de eso. ¿Qué fue lo que sucedió? ¿Cuál fue el problema? Qué cosa tan fea, ¿no? Ni se acuerdan cuál es el problema, pero saben que están enojados y no están supuestos a hablar con la persona. ¿Qué tal si les digo que cuando usted pide perdón, yo lo hago, yo pido perdón, porque yo me voy a sentir muy bien pidiendo perdón, aunque no es mi culpa. Yo pido perdón porque me voy a sentir bien después de hacerlo. Y lo que sucede la mayoría de las veces es cuando uno pide perdón, la otra persona dice, no eras tú, era yo. Wow, qué cosa, ¿no? Pedir perdón, después todas esas nubes, todo eso se desaparece y uno ya puede visualizar. De veras, uno puede visualizar, es como que el perdón le permite a uno visualizar. La falta del perdón tiene una nube tan fea que no puede visualizar. Entonces ahora usted está viendo en el presente, pero con un enfoque hacia su futuro, que es lo que tiene que hacer. Es la cosa más linda que nos puede pasar aquí. Aquí, otra cosa aquí sobre encontrando paz en el presente. Para mí lo que trabaja es siempre la oración. La oración, la oración me ayuda a mí a acercarme más a Dios, y cuando lo hago es algo muy, muy especial porque yo en el momento no tengo una oración como todos lo sabemos, un Padre Nuestro que empieza, Padre Nuestro que está en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. No es así. No es así. Es cogiendo un tiempo específico para estar con Dios, para hablar con Él. Lo que quiere Dios es con nosotros. Él quiere tener una relación con nosotros. Entonces, si usted hace un hábito de orar a esta hora, le podemos hablar como el profeta Daniel, ¿no? Daniel, orar 3 veces al día. No, sin importar quién es nuestro jefe ni nada, nosotros lo hacemos en privado, nos estamos dividiendo el espacio de nadie, lo hacemos todo en privado, seguimos como el profeta Daniel. ¿Y qué fue lo que pasó con Daniel? Daniel, él oraba 3 veces al día. Y después los enemigos de él metieron un decreto al rey diciendo que, rey, a ti, si alguien ora, tiene que orarte a ti nada más. Tú eres el grandísimo, un semejante a Dios. Entonces, cuando vino ese decreto, Daniel sabía del decreto que habían pasado, pero Daniel se fue a su casa, oraba a Dios como lo hacía siempre. Enseguida, ¡pum!, le cogieron, vamos al foso de los leones. The Lion's Den, el foso de los leones. ¿Y qué es lo que pasa ahí? Dios, porque como Daniel era tan obediente, ¿qué es lo que hizo Dios? Dios mandó un ángel ahí, le cerró la boca a los leones y todo, no le sucedió nada. Esos leones más hambrientos que ellos no habían. Entonces, he aquí lo que estoy diciendo: cuando nosotros honramos a Dios, oramos a Él, siquiera 3 veces al día, usted va a encontrar favor con Dios. No importa la condición que usted tenga ni nada, Dios le va a resolver todos sus problemas. Aquí, encontrando paz en el presente, quiere decir que tenemos que honrar a Dios en cada momento. Oren sin cesar. Pray without ceasing now, Gigi. That's the live in peace. It's stay with God. Pray without ceasing, at least 3 times a day, just like Daniel in the lion's den. He was thrown into the lion's den, but God saved him. Why? Because he was obedient to God. Completely amazing. Beautiful story.
I love that. And it's true. If we, let God in, I think there goes the peace that we are seeking for. Because when we're worried, we're not trusting that He has the power to make things better, right? So thank you very much for your kind words and your words of wisdom. Until next time, we're going to bring the show to an end. Any final golden nugget?
Confía en Dios con todos sus problemas. Él tiene las soluciones. Él tiene el control de todo. Amén. Thank you, Gigi.
Everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Until next time, I'm your host, Giovanna Tardavone.
Co-host Pablo Sanchez. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you.